lips very full, mouth projecting, chin small, and the whole physiognomy, when swarthy as it often is. He's talking about the first Jewish caste right here. When swarthy as it often is, it is often swarthy, has an African look. Okay, so now we are in this book, guys, an American dictionary of the English language. Okay, based on what I have seen, it seems like this book is the first dictionary ever published in the United States of America, guys. This book was published in 1828, I believe. Let's see. Yep, that's it, 1828, by Noah Webster. I am reading volume 2. This book comes in 2 volumes. There's 1 and 2 only. This is volume 2, guys. I want us to see the definition of a word called swarthy. Okay, so guys, we have gone to the definition of the words swarthy. Okay, before we get to swarthy, let's see the definition of some of the words above. Let's start with this one. Swarth, right here. Can you see swarth? Let's see what it means, guys. Okay, we're gonna read from number 1. Being of a dark hue, moderately black, tawny. The word tawny also means swarthy as well, guys. Think of the word tawny as a lighter shade of a dark color. Okay, like for example, you may have some light-skinned Africans today. Those light-skinned Africans would be called tawny people, while the darker-skinned ones are the true swarthy people. But guess what? They are both swarthy. Okay, swarthiness. Swarthiness means what? Look at what it means. It means a dusky or dark complexion. Very important that we realize this. Now we are in the word swarthy. I want you to see what it says. It says swarthy, being of a dark hue or dusky complexion. Tawny, in warm climates, the complexion of men is universally swarthy or black. So when you hear the word swarthy, you are saying black. Okay, a black person is swarthy. Okay, so here is the second definition of the word swarthy. Here it is, number 2. What is it? Black, as the swarthy African. So Africans are swarthy people. Okay, the word swarthy means black. Very important that you understand this definition. Okay, so let's move forward now. We are in this book titled The Races of Men, a Fragment by Robert Knott. This book was published in the year 1850, guys. It's very important that people realize that the books that I'm showing you here, these are not books that were written recently. People with their agendas may write a book today and tell you this is how the world was, but it's very important that we look at books from the past to get an accurate idea of what the past looked like. Okay, so let's see what this book has for us on page 133. Okay, so I want you guys to join me as I read from this section of the book. Okay, this is where I'm going to read from. I want you guys to see what it says here. As I attentively surveyed the Jewish population on the streets of London, in the UK, I fancied I could perceive 3 different casts of features. Remember, he's looking at the Jewish population, and when he looks at them, he sees 3 different casts of features. Basically, he sees 3 different shades of colors within this Jewish population. So let's see what the first is. The first shade, par excellence and never to be mistaken. So he's going to go into what the first one looks like later on. A second, this is the second shade, such as Rembrandt drew. Now, you're probably wondering, who the hell is Rembrandt? Well, Rembrandt, let's do a quick Google search to see who Rembrandt was. Okay, so here is what the Google search of Rembrandt tells me. Rembrandt, this is his full name here, Rembrandt Harmenzoon van Rijn, okay, usually known as Rembrandt, was a Dutch golden painter. He was a printmaker and a draughtman. Okay, so he was a painter, guys. That is what the writer of this book is making a reference to right here when he says that the second shade of Jewish people that he saw, they resembled the paintings that Rembrandt drew. So let's see some of Rembrandt's paintings to get an idea of what this writer is trying to describe. Okay, so here are some paintings by Rembrandt, guys. Okay, I don't know the name of all of them, but I want you guys to notice something similar between all these paintings. This is one. Here is another one. I want you guys to notice how these colors are brown. Look at how brown the images are. He's painting Caucasians, but look at the entire image. What color would you say dominates these artist images, guys? The brownness. Look at how brown the images are. Even the clothes that the people are wearing are so brown. Look at what it says about him. Okay, this is about Rembrandt's ink. Look at what this says right here, guys. The literature on Rembrandt's brown ink drawings traditionally has described them as being executed in brist, a carbonium substance made from chimney soot. So when you look at those images and you see how brown they are, it's because he uses a chemical that is made from the soot that you can find in chimneys, guys. Okay, that's why his images are always very brown, almost bordering on black sometimes, but look at them, very brown. So when you go back to this book, The Races of Men, a fragment, and you read what he says here, a second such as Rembrandt drew, you can realize that, okay, he's talking about a brown colored people. This is the second cast. And the third cast, now he's going into the third one, possibly what? Darker. He's telling you that the third cast within the Jewish population was even darker than the paintings that Rembrandt drew. Very important line right there. But he still hasn't told us about the first Jewish cast. He does says par excellence and never to be mistaken. Let's see if he can elaborate on the first. Now look at it right down here, guys. This is talking about the first one now. Of the first form, which is this one up here, I need say little to you, begging you merely to recollect that the contour is convex, the eyes long and fine, the outer angles running towards the temple, the brow and nose apt to form a single convex, the nose comparatively narrow at the base, the eyes consequently approaching each other, lips very full, mouth projecting, chin small, and the whole physiognomy, when swarthy as it often is, he's talking about the first Jewish cast right here. When swarthy as it often is, it is often swarthy, has an African look. So here's my question to you guys, the audience. What do Africans look like? Black people. Okay, you're talking about black people. This book was published in the year 1850. 1850, and this guy is describing the Jewish population in 1850, guys. And he's telling you that what? They had an African look, guys. Crazy. So it's very powerful stuff to realize that the Jews were black people, guys. The first cast, this first one, they had an African look. That's what he says here at the bottom. The second one looked like paintings that Rembrandt, the artist Rembrandt, drew. And I showed you guys that artist was known to draw paintings that were very brown. Okay, he used brown a lot in his images. And then of course the third cast was what? Possibly darker, even darker than the paintings that Rembrandt drew, guys. Okay, so this is describing the Jewish population here that were black people. Okay, it's time for us to wake up.